I'm so excited to be here today. I'm trying a different setup, so I really hope that this works fine. A lot of my recording setup is based on faith. Yeah, we could say faith and surrender. um, yeah, because I only know the result way after I'm done recording. So today we want to talk, continuing with that series that I'm so excited about this astrological diagnosis. I'm still looking for a catchy, cool, descriptive name to call the series, but anyhow, for now, we will worry about that later. I wanted to tackle another thing that I find happening quite a lot is why you feel lost even when everything looks perfectly fine from the outside. And also, like, we're testing. Today is just like a day where we're testing a bunch of things. Also, the microphone, I'm trying to play with it and see if this works. Hopefully, this ends up well. Let's have absolute certainty that this is going to be fine. So, this is something that I get so often, and I'm always it just, I think it's something that all of us we deal with at some point in our life. Not all of us, but I'd say like many people, if not everyone. When from the outside, everything looks amazing, looks perfect. Like it looks like you have it all together, you have it all figured out. How many times do we hear that, right? So and so has it all figured out, or your entire family, friends, they feel like they see you as someone who has it all figured out. I know that's something that I personally dealt with growing up with my parents. Like, I don't know, I've always been seen as the responsible one. And because from the outside, I looked really put together and organized and structured. And, especially as a kid that was doing well in school, it was just like people project on you. Oh, I don't have to worry about so and so. They're amazing. They're doing well, you know. And I feel like this is something that it's very dangerous because a lot of time you have no idea the hell you're doing, and it might be total chaos inside of you. But some people really wear the mask really, really well. So today I wanted to focus not on the childhood aspect, but more as us as grown-ups, what can happen and how we can explain this astrologically. Of course, there could be a gazillion reasons, why you feel that way, why you still feel unsettled when the facade is looking amazing, right? But I can't tackle every single reason today, so I really wanted to put the focus on one reason that can be quite common, right? It is, again, we're gonna bring out Saturn in the conversation. I'm gonna keep bringing Saturn so much until everyone just starts appreciating Saturn. I'm going to say that over and over and over again. But the reality is Saturn is I today I'm thinking about Saturn as the boot camp, the boot camp teacher, the boot camp coach. So that's why Saturn often comes in those conversations. So some reason why you might feel really chaotic inside, even if your outside facade, looks really put together to other people. It could be a Saturn transiting your sun. The sun in astrology represents your identity, and Saturn brings pressure. Saturn brings structure. So Saturn is pretty much gonna tend to challenge that. Whenever Saturn is going through your ascendant, right, your AC line, again, it's the ascendant is how you show up into the world. It's how you function, you interact with the outside world. So Saturn bringing pressure, then you could see how that can create friction. Another very, very very popular place that we could start finding explanation that could be 12th house influence. Now, the 12th house is very intense because it's pretty much the unseen, and it's tightly associated with Pisces, which is really connected with the outer world, the unseen, the metaphysical world, the spiritual world. So a lot of people are not really in touch with that 12th house, with the unseen part of themselves. So whenever Saturn comes there, forcing your attention there in that section of your life, that can definitely make things extremely uncomfortable for many, many, many people. As usual, like I say in every episode, if that is something that you're going through, you don't have to go through that alone. You can definitely come and see me. All my links are down below so you can book your own session with me if that's something you feel called to. But how this would show up in your real life. In your real life, you might feel like everything is confused. Like you feel a certain lack of direction. You might feel... Another thing I often hear is people mention emotional emptiness. It's just this lack of depth. Or even if you feel it in your own personal life, you might be very, very intolerant whenever you can't find people around you to reciprocate that level of depth. For example, let's say you're dating, and then you might be frustrated and irritated by the lack of depth in the potential mates, potential partners that you are interacting with. It's a certain impatience, and almost as if your standards kind of increase both with yourself and with the outside world. And of course, internal confusion. Internal confusion is pretty much, I'd say, the first thing that we feel right away, because it's kind of like that little feeling that's going to start setting the alarm and making you think, oh my God, what is going on in my life? And then despair and all of these feelings. The good news, again, these emotions, these emotional weather they don't really tend to last forever, because nothing really lasts forever in life. But they're required, because this is what really attracts our attention. This is why also we need chaos. We need a little bit of pain sometimes, because as humans, we tend to do life on autopilot. And whenever we have these emotional storm, it's the way for the universe to pretty much attract our attention on a lot of things that we would have kept ignoring for an entire lifetime, if we don't feel that pressure. So if you're going through that, that's why it's very important to do a lot of introspection and analyze and see what is trying to attract your attention. And often when you're able to do that, which is, again, that's not something that you able to do alone most of the time, because we need mirrors. This is why we have therapists. This is why we have mentors. We have coaches. This is why we have people like me. This is why we have different people that we look up to in life, like teachers and stuff like that, because we need mirrors, because a lot of time you can get stuck up in your head. And so I just wanted to mention, again, it feels like all I'm talking about is Saturn, but I really do think that we need to talk about Saturn more, and as a more, start diving deeper into the conversation and show how different transits are going to affect different part of your life, and they're going to create different emotions in your life. So that is the point of this series, and we're keeping it short and sweet in those little series, those segments. And on that note, my love, keep shining bright like a diamond. And as usual, like I said, all the links are down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.